Ready? All right, Paula, if you can please put us down, 6:30. We're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. If you can go ahead and take care of item number 2, the roll call, please.
District 2 Alderman Richard Hughes.
I'm here.
District 3 Alderman David Emery.
Here.
District 4 Alderman Michael Rodriguez.
Here.
District 1 Alderman Miguel Aguirre, and District 5 Alderman Charles Gay are absent.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you can please rise for us to go ahead and take care of Pledge of Allegiance, and please remain standing afterwards.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. I ask, if possible, for all of us, just a moment of silence. For those of you not aware, we actually lost one of our teammates, one of our city employees, Chris, this past weekend. And we just want to go ahead and have a moment of silence on his behalf, and prayers and thoughts, especially for the Alcalde family, and just to give them strength. Thank you. Please be seated. All right, let's go ahead and move on to item number 4, citizens to be heard. This is the opportunity for citizens, visitors, guests to address the City Council on any issue, any item of the agenda in compliance with LGC Section 551.007. City Council may not discuss any presented issue, nor may any action be taken on any issue at this time. Citizens to be heard are limited to 3 minutes each. And let me go ahead and take a look, see if we have anything. Do we have anybody for public comments at all? Okay. Going once. Going twice. Okay. Paula, if you can go ahead and put us down for no comments on there. All right, let's go ahead and, hey, Miguel. Thank you, sir. Let's go ahead and move on to, if you can please show. Okay, number 5, let's go ahead and move on to consent of agenda. Item A, consider the approval of the minutes. And we'll start with March 6, 2024.
I want to start by making a motion to approve the meeting minutes for March the 26th, 2024.
Okay, got a motion on the floor? 6.
6.
6.
6.
6? Okay, thank you.
Okay.
March 6th.
6. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
You got a second? Okay. Any discussion on that one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you. We have March the 11th, 2024.
I move that we approve the minutes for our meeting on March 11th, 2024.
Okay. Got a motion on the floor for us to approve the minutes on March the
I'll
11th?
second that.
Got a second? Okay. And discussion? All those for?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Appreciate that. And let's go ahead and take care of March the 25th, 2024.
Mayor, I want to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for March the 25th, 2024 as presented.
Okay. Got a motion on the floor? Got a second? Okay. Any discussion on those minutes? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you so much, Council. Appreciate that. Let's go ahead and move on to B, consider the approval of the payment of the bills. Take a look at the bills.
I move that we approve the paying of the bills as presented.
Okay, got a motion on the floor for us to go ahead and approve the bills as presented. Do I have a second?
I'll second that, Mayor.
Yeah, a second? Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Appreciate that. All right, let's go ahead and move on into the open session and take action on items discussed. The first one, A, is consider and possible action concerning a request for a variance from Brad Boyd for property located at 15254 Oak Street from section 36-104 lots of chapter 36 subdivisions and plats to allow a lot to be less than 50 feet wide with a frontage less than 40 feet. Zach?
All right, Mayor and Council, of course, this is the carryover item from the last meeting. This is the subdivision variance portion with the two variances. Mr. Boyd is here this evening, so I'll leave it really up to him because I think that's who you wanted to speak to last time and hear from him. So, Brad, if you want to come up.
How's it going, guys?
Good, good, sir.
So y'all had some questions about?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Why?
Well, let me show you. If you do this by the city,
Thank you, sir.
by the city ordinance or the city plans, this is the way the lots would end up looking. And there would be basically.
Can you go to the mic?
Oh, sorry.
Brad?
It'd be basically not only not very pretty, they're almost unbuildable with the way that they would be shaped. So by doing it the way that it's drawn out to be platted, the one's basically a driveway to get back to the other one. That makes it L-shaped, but then the other one ends up being a basic rectangle. And if you do it by the ordinance, then my client really can't do much with her property because she would end up with you end up with a ton of wasted land doing it that way. And we took that, I took that to the Zoning and Planning Commission, just a general drawing of it to say, is this something that they could be agreeable to? And they were, so my seller went ahead and spent the money and had it drawn out and platted that same way. And then of course they approved it once that was done.
There was no thought or consideration to just joining lots 2 and 3 together to make one big lot?
Well, it's already one big lot, and she's trying to maximize the use of her property.
All right.
Because we divided into two pieces, she can sell it for more money.
I see. Okay, so they're not, no plans at the moment to build on them?
No.
Okay.
No, she's not going to build on them. She's just going to sell them.
I think our question last time was that little narrow strip between 1 and 3, there would be no building on that.
No, that's a driveway.
Access only.
That's correct. And it's 30 foot wide to make it plenty wide to be able to run sewer, water line.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to do the electric underground or what have you, that way they don't have to get an easement from the neighbor to be able to get it back there. It's basically a driveway for sewer and water. And then it ends up still leaving you half an acre on the back end. The other one's just slightly less than a half an acre. And then you got two nice looking pieces of property where people can build on them.
Yeah.
And it makes it the highest and best use of dividing it.
Brad, is it possible in the documentation that we can highlight on there that it's supposed to be for driveway purposes?
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't, it's only 30 foot wide. So, I mean, you couldn't even put
I'm with you, but we have had folks that have come in here and asked for different things because 20 years ago somebody did something and it was agreed upon. Luckily, we found somebody that was here and could explain what they had agreed upon. So I just want to make sure, so in the future for the city, everybody understood that what we actually, if we do approve this, that it's meant to be a driveway.
Yeah, and that's not a problem.
Okay.
If you want to word it that way, that's not an issue.
So you're stating that prior to having this thing pinned, you actually went to the zoning commission and got it approved?
I took a drawing of the
Right.
platted out piece, not the one that I just handed you, but the other one. And I just said, would y'all have a problem with this? I took them that one and took them the other one and said, is this something that you could be agreeable to? Before she spent the money to have it platted out that way. And they looked at it and said, yeah, it's very reasonable because you do it the way according to the city ordinance and you end up with, not very nice looking lots.
So, Mr. Zachary, is there a minimum or maximum dimension for driveway included in the ordinance?
I don't believe there is. Offhand, I don't know for sure, but I'm not thinking there is.
Because I'm wondering, 30 feet, I really don't know how big 30 feet is, and based on the car, 2 lanes, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But Molly, can we have that added in there, that it's going to be driveway only?
You could put a condition on the variance.
Okay. Well, Mayor, I want to make a motion to approve the request for variance for Brad Boyd for the property located at 15254 Oak Street from section 36-104 lot of chapter 36 subdivision and plats to allow lot to be less than 50 square feet wide and frontage less than 40 feet
Mhm.
with the noted to be used as driveway only.
Got a motion on the floor, and it was 50 feet wide and 40 feet,
Yeah, all right, second.
or less than, I'm sorry, less than. Then that. Got a second?
I have a question. If I understand the map correctly, I'm looking at the other map here too. Davis Street runs past Lot 2 on the other side and then kind of dead ends down there, is that right?
There's no other part of that lot that faces a street or adjoins a
It's
street.
just on the top.
Okay,
It's on.
I'm looking at the little.
Yeah, the Google shows what there's kind of like a
Yeah, it shows an
somewhat
extension
partial
of Davis
street, but it's
Yeah,
actually not there,
it's,
right?
it's not there and doesn't
Let's
exist.
see right here.
Yeah.
This is Davis coming down here, and it shows Davis. So the only access to that property would be down that long skinny driveway.
Yes, sir. That's
Okay.
correct.
Off of Oak Street.
Yeah, and there's no other street frontage.
That's correct.
I just want to clarify that.
Okay,
I second.
I got it, second. Yeah. Do you have any discussion, Richard? No. No. Good questions. All right. Any other further item or any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries forward. Approved.
Does that take care of both of them?
Nope, we gotta do the other one. I'm sorry. It's formality. I know. We got.
I'm just trying to be.
We got the national championship game tonight, right? We got national. All right, let's go ahead and move on to B, consideration and possible action concerning the application for variance by Brad Boyd for the property located at 15254 Oak Street from section 46-190 area regulations of chapter 46 zoning to allow a lot to be less than a minimum width required of 60 feet. Zach, can you explain to the council right away why we have two?
Yeah, so just to reiterate from last time as well, so there are two different distinctions, one in our subdivision code, which was the previous item, and the zoning code, which is this item. They both have two different numbers, so to make sure that we're compliant with one and not the other, we obviously want to have both, so if, that's why we said in the recommendation, if you approve the subdivision, then we recommend approval on this one, so.
Yep.
So that way it matches.
Mayor, I want to go ahead and make that motion and also put in there the restriction for driveway use only.
I'll second that again.
Okay, any discussion?
Just a question before Mr. Boyd leaves. The other property, there's no problem with the width of the frontage on that one?
No, sir.
That's all.
No, that one's, they're both bigger than what's required. They're both a lot bigger than what's required. It's just, there was a lack of frontage there.
Right.
To be able to make them look, to be decent pieces of property.
Wanted to make sure I understood.
Yes, sir. Okay, any further discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Brad. All
Thank you,
taken
guys.
care of. Thank you
Appreciate
for
it.
Thank you for coming on.
joining us. Appreciate that. All right. All right, let's go ahead and move on to C, the discussion update and possible action concerning Lakeshore Master Drainage Plan.
All right, Mayor and Council, so we have Kimberly Horn here to present our Lakeshore Estates Master Drainage Plan. They've been working at it for a while now and have come up with kind of their data and then some possible solutions for taking care of some of the issues out there. So I'll turn it over to Deanna from Kimberly Horn.
Awesome. Awesome.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. Thank you all for your time today. My name is Deanna Mikulek. I'm with Kimberly Horn, and I'm going to be talking to you about the updates for this master drainage plan. So just to give you all a little bit of a background and overview of the project, Kimberly Horn was selected by the city to perform a drainage analysis of Lakeshore Estates subdivision located on the north side of the city. Areas within the subdivision had been identified as areas with repeat flooding concerns. So we created hydrologic and hydrologists to confirm those areas of concerns and then identify proposed solutions to help alleviate those existing flooding issues. So first step of our process was to determine the amount of area from the north draining to County Road 6710, which then drains directly to Lakeshore Estates. It was determined that approximately 1,030 acres from the north drain directly to the subdivision. The offsite flow drains through the subdivision into the Natalia Canal and then ultimately into the two ponds that are located on the southern side of the subdivision. The offsite area was analyzed in its existing conditions. So in existing conditions, that area is all very flat farmland. It has an average impervious cover of 1%, so not much pavement out there. It's really just flat farmland. The total flow coming from that area was about 2,700 CFS in a 100-year storm event. So once we had that offsite hydrology nailed down, we moved on to hydraulics portion of the analysis. So a site visit was performed in July 2023, and then more detailed survey was performed in October 2023 to collect data for the existing infrastructure within the subdivision. We decided to use XP Swim modeling, which is a 1D, 2D modeling program for this analysis because of its ability to model the storm sewer within the subdivision, as well as the surface flow on the ground. So to model that runoff within the subdivision, we used the inflow data from the north, and then we used NOAA Atlas 14 rainfall data within that red boundary you see there on the map to simulate an actual rainfall event on top of the subdivision. We ran the model and analyzed results for the 5, 25, and 100-year storms. So once we had all the inputs within the model, we pressed run and produced these results. So this map here is showing you the 5-year storm event flooding depths within the subdivision. Lighter red color is showing depths between 0 to 5 inches. So minimal flooding, but those are the depths that are producing in the 5-year storm. The other colors you see represent different depths of water. So red color being the shallowest, and then the light blue, which you see mainly in the ponds, being the deepest flooding. The areas called out on the map you see here, area 1, 2, and 3, those were areas of a flooding concern that were brought to our attention by the city. So we'll discuss these areas in more detail a little bit later, but as you can see, the model is also reflecting the higher depths of flooding in these areas, which confirmed that they really were areas of concern. Similarly, this map is showing the 25-year storm event depths, red color representing depths from 1 inches to 6 inches. And then the last results are the 100-year. So the purple and the pink are the darkest colors here. Those are about 6 to 7.5 feet deep, and that's all within the ponds, the bottom of the site, which is where the water should be. So, all right, moving on to the proposed analysis. So, as mentioned, areas 1, 2, and 3, after we met with the city to review the resident complaints and review the flooding results, those 3 areas were chosen as our flood mitigation study zones. So all of these areas were analyzed for the 25-year storm event because those were the standards that we would be building new infrastructure to. So important to note here, I want to mention, with the proposed analysis, we're not changing the amount of flow coming to the site, right? We're not providing any detention to change the amount of water. We're just trying to convey this flow in a more efficient way to get to the ponds rather than create flooding within the neighborhood. So let's look at Area 1. Area 1 located along Laney's Catch and Rocky Circle, southwest side of the neighborhood. It's bound by Natalia Canal to the north and another drainage canal to the west. 2 options were reviewed for this area. So option 1 is introducing storm sewer along Rocky Circle and Laney's Catch, and then upsizing the existing storm system that outfalls into the detention pond, which is just off-site of this picture to the east. So option 2, we looked at a different option rather than storm sewer. We wanted to look at just regrading the ditches along the road to reduce the amount of pipe we would need. So we looked at regrading the ditches to be proper trapezoidal channels. For existing conditions, those channels have been silted in over time, and so they look more like a triangle, don't have much capacity. So option 2 was making those channels just a little bit bigger so they kept more flow within the channel, not overtopping into the road or onto the lots. Both options provided similar results. That option 1 just sent most of the flow underground rather than keeping it in ditches with option 2. So with each area, we did do an opinion of probable construction cost. So as you can see, this is the cost estimate for option 1, which was putting all of that flow in storm sewer underground. So the majority of the cost here comes from the actual pipes themselves. Puts our total at about $366,000. And I do want to note, since it's a construction cost, it doesn't include the engineering design fee. Option 2. So option 2 was just doing that extra trapezoidal ditch excavation. You can see definitely a more cost-conscious option with $21,000. So this includes excavation and then resodding those ditches after the excavation.
Did I hear you correctly that both options would give pretty much the same result?
Correct.
And would there be engineering costs associated with this?
No, these costs you see here are just the estimated construction costs. None of them.
Would engineering be required?
Oh,
if we
yes.
did this?
Yes.
Even the widening the ditch?
Mhm.
Okay.
We would have to provide some sort of construction documents for the contractor to grade in those ditches properly.
Sure.
Area 2. So as I mentioned earlier, this is the area where most of that off-site northern flow is draining directly to. So approximately 1,200 CFS in the 25-year storm event drains through this vacant lot and into the Natalia Canal. So the a portion of the Natalia Canal within this area had been filled in at some point in the last few years, which has caused the ponding to happen within this vacant lot and surrounding areas. So the ponding extends in this vacant lot around Whitecap Drive, and then the water also overflows into Area 1, which we just discussed, which is just south of the red rectangles you see there. So Kimley Horn here, we recommend extending these channels, doing more trapezoidal channels within those red rectangles you see there. This will capture all of that northern flow, direct it where it needs to go, which is south, and then as well as reconstructing those culverts under Lakeshore Drive. Right now there's 3 36-inch RCPs, which are not in the best condition, and so it's causing water to back up and pond behind those culverts. So we would recommend upsizing those culverts to 3 5x3 boxes. Here's the construction cost for Area 2. This cost is really just including the excavation for those 2 channels running alongside each other, and then the 5x3 box culverts. Total coming out to $565,000.
Can we go
Sure.
go back to the slide? Okay, just kind of keep that in mind, and then go back to the overall one with
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Show the 25-year. Yeah, this one. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, and just full disclosure, I actually live in that neighborhood.
Okay.
I've experienced these floods, so I know exactly what happens out there, along with
I'm sitting there.
There you go. I was like, I thought he was there. Tracy. Okay, so this area here,
Mhm.
there was 2 canals.
Mm-hmm.
The one in the bottom is actually a BMA canal.
Mhm.
That's an actual water providing canal.
Mhm.
So that's the one, Tracy. It's already been covered up. They ran their own pipe.
Yeah, they did. They were in pipe underneath, backfill it, so.
Yeah, so that one got covered. So if you go, now go forward. I just wanted to make sure. Okay.
Yes. So that pipe,
Tracy, this is that one, right?
it runs between those two red rectangles from what
That's
I,
right. Correct.
Mhm.
It runs between the 2 red lines.
Okay.
The 2 red lines are drained, right? That's just-
Yeah. So we just need to figure out because we used to have that pushing water through here also,
Mhm.
and I know they closed it up, so there's less water going through there. And the other thing that helped out is they closed it up over here. The other portion of it, go back to the other one, and I'm going to talk about the top one, is right up, right around here,
Mhm.
right here. There's a culvert here and culvert here. That one, they kind of routed this way.
Mhm.
There's a culvert right here. This water that comes through here and here, these are the 2 areas. That's what floods this area and then comes through the neighborhood.
Right.
We've asked to stop that right there.
Mhm.
If you can stop that, you got less water coming in there, and then all you have to do is concentrate on this area right in here.
Yeah.
It ends up Tracy's house right in here because they'll flood this area and then it pushes this way and then it comes down this way on there.
Mhm.
So that was one of the things that we had asked about, and nothing has been done in this area right in there.
Mhm.
Before we couldn't touch it because it was BMA and the canal right over here. But now that it's closed up, now the only thing that should be flowing through here is just rainwater.
Mhm.
That's it coming in there. So was that
Yeah. So that
was all understood?
Yeah, the 1200 CFS that I was talking about coming from the north, it is draining to that one point you were mentioning right along the 6710, where you see the blue, most of the blue shading. There's a low point. Yeah. Correct. That all the area north of 6710 is draining, concentrating at that one point and causing that flooding within that vacant lot there.
Through that field west of my house.
Yes.
Yeah. And there was supposed to, is there a retaining pond right in here?
There is now.
There is
Now.
now.
Recently,
Yeah,
right?
recently they constructed it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It was as full as
To
full.
try to help out. Because there was some things that the city had already done to try to help out, try to push the water through here and then try to get the water out. Because what was happening is right down here where it flows on 463, it was built up. So it would actually build up the water. It would back pressure everything underneath this canal and it would back everything in here and it would start flowing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now that we've done this, now we're actually letting it flow better out of the reservoir out of here. But there's some other things that have happened now in this area. Once BMA cut all this and covered it up, now the water that used to go through that, now we're noticing in this area. So
And I do have I'll talk about that area next.
Area 3.
But yeah, I do want to just have a little further discussion on the area 2. You can look at the
Okay.
area 2 slide. Yeah, this one's good. So I do think those 336-inch culverts right there in their lakeshore are causing that backup of water at that corner.
Okay, so I can speak freely, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead and stand up and just introduce yourself.
All
Okay,
right,
so just a-
I'm Trace Joyce, I live at 6051 Captain. It's part of Area 2, and I know we've talked about the lot that water flows across to. It's south of, well, if Whitecap were to continue west, south of where my house is. But the volume of water that ends up there comes across my lot.
Mhm.
And it travels as far, I was looking at colors as well, and some of my concern is understanding exactly where this water's coming from. We're talking about 25 years, but over the course of the last 12, 13, it's been a handful of times, 3, 4 times, that there's been as much as 24 inches of water over the center of the, over the center of the cul-de-sac. So I just want to make sure everything's evaluated the way it needs to be. Plus, the 336 is certainly not even reasonable, but
but they're always just full of water. Like
Mhm.
they're way low and they're always just full of water. There's no
Elevation change.
There's
No
no elevation
slope
change,
to it.
no grade, no slope,
Mhm.
and whenever it does reach slope, it just reaches that canal on the south side and kind of stops.
Mhm.
So those are my questions in regards to what's evaluated.
Mhm. Yeah, so we
5x3 is great. I
Yeah.
just want to make sure they,
yeah, we would change the slope on those as well to get that, push that water through.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, we can go to area 3. So, as we were just talking about, let me flip my pages. So, the survey of this area revealed that there's a 5x5 box going under Lake Shore right now. It transitions into a 42-inch pipe, which that's a significant decrease in pipe size. So that is causing a lot of the backup that's happening in that pond and channel area right upstream. And since that's backing up, it's pushing water over the pipe to flow back into the pond. And so Kimley-Horn recommends putting that entire stretch of 5x5 and replacing that 42-inch and just continuing it through. So the majority of the cost there comes from that 5x5 box, and then resodding after we replace it, ending at $403,000. That's all the updates I had for y'all. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Which one you think would be the biggest? I know there's some costs involved, but which one?
Area 2, those channels are in the upsizing the culverts, the 336s, I think would provide the most benefit, since that's the area where the most flooding is occurring right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so doing that along with, there was some flooding in area 1 as well, which was the Laney's Catch and Rocky's Circle. Once you upsize those channels or regrade those channels in area 2, that's going to alleviate a lot of flooding that's happening in area 1, because right now that water just flowing over it, it should be going east, right, down the channel, down the canal, but it's flowing over that BMRA berm, right, that they built and flowing into area 1.
So area 2. So basically those two.
Those 2 channels, yeah, and the culverts.
Okay.
last question.
Mhm.
Okay, with the piping that was installed by BMA and its depth, is there was conversation talking about going over that rather than under it, and all kinds of issues there, but regardless, the reason that conversation was had was because of the current depth of those. I didn't know whatever 36 inches or whatever, the drainage that exists now. So is there actual opportunity to get a 5x3 raised high enough? It sounds crazy, but so it's not just a hole.
Yeah.
High enough underneath the existing BMA piping, so there can actually be that throughput that would proceed.
Yeah, I mean, since those existing pipes are the 3-foot depth currently, we likely have enough clearance to get a 5x3 in there. We may do some regrading of that channel downstream to make sure it has that enough slope to drain it out into that channel.
Okay, all right. And then also, just as flow goes, and something we had talked about, is on the other side, on that channel, that drainage on the other side, does that have to be, I didn't see it highlighted, but is that part of the grading and maintenance that's required to actually have those 5x3s working underneath, running south, across whatever street that is, south of Whitecap, where the current 36s are, where the 5x3s. So is part of that plan, if it is, I missed it, to grade that appropriately to allow throughput.
Oh, the channel south
The channel
of,
running south.
that was not part of the plan. From our model was showing that channel had the capacity to contain it within that channel, to carry it to the pond, which was just south.
Zach, is there anything that you would want the council at this point?
No, I think, so we wanted to obviously present this to y'all. Keep in mind that next week, or not next week, the next council meeting, we'll be having the stormwater conversation. And, it was discussed at that time, kind of building in some sort of combination of Lakeshore and, another master drainage plan, citywide, in component of that. So we just wanted to have this conversation with y'all first, kind of give you an update of where we're at. These are the options. This is what's going to be in their report. Unless y'all had any modifications tonight, but this is kind of what we're suggesting. And then as we continue to talk about the stormwater utility fund, and on that conversation, and obviously some of these details and how we pay for it, and those things will be flushed out. So.
Council?
Could this be done piecemeal and still have significant impact in flooding mitigation?
Mhm.
In your humble opinion, if we had to do number one, number two, number three, which one would be number one, two, and three?
Those two channels in area 2 would be my number 1 priority. And then area 1 would be my number 2, which was Laney's Catch and Rocky Circle. And then as far as area 3, that would be my number 3.
Putting in the 5x5 blocks.
Yes.
Okay.
Why is there a major difference in cost from 1 and 2? Is 2 underground?
For
So there were two.
the 2
In
options.
area 1, there were 2 options.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
second.
one was putting underground, which is, and piping, and having the pipe, so that's where the cost comes from.
Mhm.
Whereas option 2 of area 1 is just regrading of the ditches.
Earthwork. Yeah.
So it's
We
a lot
can't do
less.
that to that. We can't do that to area 2.
Area 2, majority of that is earthwork for the channels. But then there's also the cost of culverts underneath to carry the flow underneath Lakeshore Drive, which would have to be put underground.
Culverts are way too small.
Yeah.
And any debris that gets in there, it's just putting a stopper on it.
They've continued to be silted in over time, and it's just, they're still maintaining it, which again gets back to the stormwater utility funds, being
Mm-hmm.
able to maintain it going forward too, and making sure that we're keeping, once they put it in the ground, we're maintaining that, going forward.
Yeah, well, definitely. It's got a few parts on that one.
Mhm.
Within a doubt.
I think the larger culverts are so significant because they get a lot of runoff from these fields that, once they're hosted, there's just chopped up trash lying there.
Mm-hmm.
And that washes in there, but because those pipes are so small, it clogs them up. If you put a 3x5 and then a 5x5 in, that stuff will just wash right through and go down.
Can you go to the cost on area 2?
For area 2.
Okay. And that would include the 5x3s and, okay.
Yeah, that's the 5x3s and really the excavation work
Mhm.
is the high dollars on that.
Right. Okay, and then once again, just like Zach said, this is just for information. We're not looking for anything. It'll be part of the discussions as we get ready for the next steps to go ahead and do that.
Mhm.
But we appreciate.
Yeah, of course. Thank you all for the time.
Appreciate it.
Just something to take into consideration, it's not actually part of the drainage, but it is part of drainage, is that the drainage I was just talking about going south, where those product trees are going to be installed, hopefully will be installed. Keep in mind that the original developer made those lots that are west of that drainage to the center of that, and then the ones that are east to the, so that the homeowners actually are supposed to maintain that drainage.
Yeah, they're not in an easement.
And that's, they don't have skid loaders and brush off. So
That's true.
as maintenance goes forward, since you mentioned maintenance, that comes to mind. Some of them have to be maintained to allow the culverts to do what they're supposed to do, so we have drainage south of those.
Would, Zach, I don't know if you could talk to that, since it is private property there. I mean, it's a drainage ditch, but it's private property like the center of a creek or a river. Is there any way we can get city right of way for that drainage ditch?
So we'd have to acquire an easement, through there.
Right.
I'd like to pull out the plat though and start looking at that, if, just to really see what we have in that area and everything, but yes, if that's something that's gonna fall on the city and probably should, because again, to the point that the homeowners don't have the ability to really keep that
I
up.
would think, as Trace indicated, these people can't and aren't gonna do it.
Yeah,
And
so
if we ask them to sign an easement,
yes,
they're probably gonna say, where's the pen?
yeah,
To get it done fast, just
Yeah.
because it's gonna help them too.
but that would definitely be something we would need to establish before. we-
Keep that in mind.
Yeah,
That
and
was-
that's
I
not
think
the only drainage channel that has that case. Too. There's another one on the other side of it. Yeah.
Sure is.
It's certainly something we should pursue just as we move forward.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much for all your work. And we'll definitely be in touch.
Okay.
All right. let's go ahead and move on, council, and let's go ahead and take care of D. Discussion update and possible action concerning briefing by Chris Bowen, Chair of Keep Lytle Beautiful, regarding community cleanup on May the 4th, 2024. Come on up, Chris.
Good evening, Mayor and council members.
Good morning.
It's a privilege to be here
Yeah.
to give an update. Just a quick update on the cleanup we have scheduled for May the 4th. I know I talked to Mr. Meadows last week, I believe, and I think as far as I know, we haven't had a meeting in about a month, I think, from Keep Lytle Beautiful's perspective. But from right now, everything on the table is everything's a schedule is to go, and we're going to have, I think, at least 3 or 4 roll-off dumpsters like we've done in the past few years. The only thing I'm not sure about, we're still in the planning stages. I know we had talked about it at the last meeting, is I know there might be an election that day going on in the city for the certain matter, so we might not have one here. We're not sure yet, but we can always have them at the high school.
I think they already agreed, I think.
Yeah, so we do have 3 at the high school, and then 1 we're still going to place here just because for traffic and coming by, and it's visible and all that. So yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. And so we're going to have that. I know the city, I appreciate all your hard work and for working with Waste Management to set that side up. We're also going to plan on having at least a little small street cleanup day where if anyone can come, volunteers, and pick up trash, and we've done in the past, where we meet here at City Hall, and then we go down some of the streets, probably Main Street and some of the other main corridors of Lytle that have some trash debris on them. But as far as I know, that is. I know you put it on the billboard out here, the sign. That's a great way of getting it out to the city and to those who are coming through to Lytle. Just a couple other updates though with the Keep Lytle Beautiful. We are also planning. I know Alderman Emery is there as our. He meets with us, and we are planning. Also, we had last year, later in the year, we had asked HEB for a donation for tree planting. They wanted to do in recognition of Arbor Day, which is, of course, a national holiday with trees. And we wanted to plant a tree, probably at the John Lott Park. But thankfully, it was delayed, but we did get the gift card, and we're still planning that event, which we're thinking about doing at the end of this month, which is National Arbor Day, which is April 26th, which is a Friday. We're working with between the city and the Public Works, as well as I know Wayne Newman as the Parks, and we're going to try to plan for that event. I'm not for sure yet. It's not set in stone. It's going to be April 26th, but that's the rough tentative date right now. So we're planning for that.
Yeah, so work with Zach so we can go ahead and do that. But going back to the 4th, so now that we have a date, can we get with a school? We've talked about trying to get volunteers for the cleanup. Try to do that, and then can we get a list of those that are going to go ahead and man the dumpsters? I know we've had volunteers, council that has shown up. I know that the commissioner has also stepped up and helped us out. But the more the better. If we can get a list out there and get some other folks to actually help out, just like you mentioned, we have other things that are going on that day. So if we can get a few folks, and just to let you know, stop by the Lucky. Cafe, Lucky Clover. Yeah, they reached out and they said that they were interested in helping out. So please stop by and talk to them. But it's now that we got a date, let's go ahead and get it out and see if we can get some good volunteers. As you know, the last couple of times we haven't had a lot of folks show up to pick up, and I think we can probably do a better job on trying to do that.
We definitely want to grow, let it grow, and have more. Since we have more people moving into Lytle, we definitely want to get them in the mindset of cleaning up Lytle and beautifying Lytle as well. Which also that goes into just a side thing. I know this is kind of separate from the cleanup, but it is important, as I know we talked about as well. Is that one thing is we will need to address in the future is that we are short 2 members on the committee. Keep Lytle Beautiful, which I know the council does appoint them, but that's something that we can meet next time. We're going to meet soon. I know our Keep Lytle Beautiful. And we had looked into trying to recommend some citizens of Lytle that could possibly be, interested in it. But I know ultimately it does come back to the council to appoint someone. We did have one recently step down from the board, and then the other one has been vacant for a little while. So that is something that we will, because as you know here, like you do today, we need the quorum to be able to vote on items. So we usually we're having 2 there, and besides Mr. Alderman Emery. So that is something we will need to look into, and we'll work on that and bring back a list. And then just as a side note too, just again, this is because I haven't been here in a while, an update on Keep Lytle Beautiful. We did thankfully received the Silver Star affiliate again for this year. I haven't got a certificate or anything yet, but I can try to bring that next time. I don't think they've sent it to me yet. They're still in the process of scoring everything. There is going to be another conference this year, but as I mentioned to Mr. Emery, it's going to be a virtual event this year. It's just going to be online. But I'm willing and ready to attend it and get our necessary education that we need to maintain our status as a Silver Star affiliate. So I can also bring that back to council, though, at a later meeting. Yeah. But I know for right now we just want to focus on the May 4th and then possibly this other event with the tree planting. But I will work on I'll go by and visit them, and I'll work with Mrs. Janice Jakes, which is the other lady on the committee, and Alderman Emery as well. So if you have any questions or anything, I'm happy to answer.
Chris, just verify the hours that we're going to do the cleanup on the 4th, from when to when?
I'm pretty sure we agreed it was 8 to 11, right?
Okay.
8 to 11. So, and that's, your waste management does, you drop them off that morning. We like to have someone man there so that they don't, of course, somebody doesn't bring just tons of stuff. But we haven't really had any problems, thankfully, in the past. No. But it is 8 to 11, and they should pick them up pretty quick after that.
The question I had, because there's been some management changes at Waste Management, so they're trying to figure out coordination. So has it typically been that they drop them off that morning?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's hard to tell what time. Sometimes they've done it in the past, like at 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I think the last time it was closer to starting time. There was one there when I got there like at 7:30, and then the other two came in pretty quick after that.
Okay. Well, I'll get with the new guy, our new representative.
Yeah, it's basically not to do it tonight before.
No, they show up. The thing is, they try to pick them up before noon. So as soon as they're full, they're already rolling and picking up the ones that are noon. And normally, they might pick one over at the high school, come back, pick up one over here, and then they pick up the last ones.
All right. I just wanted to confirm some of that because I know we've been asked. So yeah.
Chris, try to get in the school and talk to the counselors or somebody over there. See if we can, the people in the National Honor Society, you got all these folks that are volunteers.
Okay.
See if we can get some of those folks to come out here and help us out.
I know some of the students are a little short on volunteer hours for National Honor Society, so that would be a strike while the iron's hot. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I will look into that and try to get them involved as well. Yes, sir. But if any more questions, if anybody has anything else, but.
No, appreciate it. Thank you for all you do.
Yes,
we
sir.
appreciate putting the spin and putting everything on there so we can keep doing that. And thank you for highlighting our city.
Yes, sir. You're welcome. And last year, when I did go to attend the conference in Houston, they did mention city in the big ballroom, and they had a picture and everything. So we're doing good work. It's just a matter of, it takes a team effort, but I'm happy to help. Yes,
That'd be great. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate it. You get to see everything get dropped off from chairs to toilets, right? I know, we get a little bit of everything when they drop off, but it's a good thing. It ends up in a dumpster versus on the side of the road or something like that. So it's a great thing for our community to be able to do that.
Mayor, one note, in the newsletter that went out with the utility bill, there was a mistake. It was noted Monday, May the 6th, so it's actually Saturday, May the 4th.
Thank you. We are aware of that. That's why we wanted to get the word out quicker as well. So there'll be an update in the utility bill this time, just to mention the reports that way.
Right, we got one more coming out.
So the April one. Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. All right, Council, let's go ahead and move on to E. Consideration and possible action concerning the resolution number 24-14, the resolution City Council of City of Lytle, Texas, approving the terms and conditions of a contract by and between the City of Lytle, Texas, and Rise Broadband for Internet service, providing for incorporation of preamble, authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate such contract and providing an effective date.
All right, Mayor and Council. So pretty simple as the item indicates in the caption. We've been working at for a while, and now that we're in a month-to-month with AT&T, and we all know the woes of what we've been dealing with from an internet standpoint at City Hall and some of the other facilities. So Frontera has been working with Spectrum and Spectrum and Rise to get some information for us together. And they are, based on the response, being that Rise has been the only one to respond, they're suggesting to go ahead and move forward with Rise Broadband as our internet provider. And this would be for 5 of our locations. So City Hall, PD, Animal, Library, and Public Works. And it is a 24-month term. It is a one-time installation at each facility of $528, and then the $528 per month for each facility as well for the contract term. It is, again, a 24-month. I think right now we were entering 3-year contracts, if I'm not mistaken, Mayor, for AT&T. So this helps us out with, if it's going well, then obviously we can enter further. But, it's nice to have that flexibility quicker if need be. The other thing is between phone and internet service, with us switching to 8x8 and with Rise, we're saving, rough estimate, I'll say 15 to 17,000 a year by moving in this direction. So AT&T has definitely been nickeling and diming the city for a while. So, which is a big plus to get away from that. It is a gig fiber at all those locations. And so I think we'll see a huge improvement, obviously, if council wants to approve that contract. So
These numbers you present, are they for the city, or are these commonly charged to other cities?
So I don't know, because of Rise's situation of, they're new in this area. There's really not a city per se near us. So this is kind of a, lack of a better word, guinea pig kind of try, which is why the 24-month is what we suggested. It is an enterprise fund, or an enterprise service. So I think they're originally from Colorado. They might have some cities out there that they work with. I'm not 100% sure. But there's really not a test to go off of, so I can't really tell you price-wise.
Yeah, as you recall, we were the ones that got picked to be the first ones. Now they're growing out from here. So the good thing is it is an enterprise solution, so they have a department that is pretty much just tailored to taking care of us, businesses, related type activities versus the residential. But I can tell you, we've gone down this road with other providers as we were dealing 3 years ago, if you remember, and some of the challenges, and especially with the cost and the reliability that goes along with that. And that's the reason why we're requesting the 24 months, which is the shortest one. That'll give us a good chance to go ahead and go through this and figure out the possibility, how it works, what the relationship is. But the big key for all of us is, this is significant savings that we're going to have for our city on an annual basis based on better speeds. We're hoping the reliability is going to be the same to be able to provide the services that we actually need. So,
I think all around, just what we're getting out of AT&T, what we're getting out of the existing phones that we're switching to 8x8, all in all, we're getting much more bang for our buck, and at that, it's cheaper, and it could, if it's a good relationship and it works out, it could drop even further. Some of their longer contract terms were even less, like significantly less. So, it could just drop even further. But we're hoping for good things, and I think the city. I kind of said the other day, Rise took a chance on us. Why not take a chance on them?
So I have to ask this question.
Sure.
And I don't want to jeopardize our relationship with Rise. So Molly, if this is not the correct forum to ask this question, let me know. Why are we not charging royalties for access? They're using our right-of-ways.
The state law changed and they have the right to use the right-of-ways. The agreement we entered with them was something to protect the city from damage caused by them when the installation's occurring, but they didn't necessarily have to agree to it. They have state right to install their internet.
Yeah. They have rights without being required to pay royalties.
Correct.
So if there are other cities that charge royalties, that's something in an agreement that they had with that particular provider?
They shouldn't be charging royalties.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I know of one city locally that has a,
Yeah,
they are charging royalties for.
I want to say 2, if not 3 legislative sessions ago is when that really changed. And,
Okay.
you know, cities really rallied trying to prevent that because that's a huge, you know, but yeah, that was definitely something that.
All right, like I said, I don't want to jeopardize our relationship
Sure.
with Rise, and I
Sure.
really do appreciate, definitely coming in.
Yes.
It's helped me a lot as well, working from home. Thank you.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion on this.
Okay.
I move that we adopt resolution number 24-14 as presented in the agenda item.
Okay, got a motion on the floor for us to go ahead and adopt the resolution to go ahead and enter the contract with Rice Broadband. You have a second? Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
That was me go.
Good. Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it, Zach. And we'll keep the council informed too. Any changes or anything that happens. I think it's gonna be good. All right, here we go. And let's see. We got an F. Alan's been looking. It's like almost. Here we go. Consideration and possible action concerning resolution number 24-15, the resolution of City Council, the City of Lytle, Texas, approving the Lytle Loft storage subdivision final plat being 12.472 acres out of the T. Thomas Survey number 513.5 abstract 839, located east of Interstate Highway 35 within the city limits of the City of Lytle, as shown in Exhibit A, providing for incorporation of preamble, providing S repealer clause, and providing an effective date. Zach.
So TRC engineers have obviously completed their review of the Lytle Loft subdivision, which is where the pump house and eventual storage units will go. And they are recommending approval based on what was presented, and a copy of that is presented as Exhibit A for y'all's reference.
And the content.
So, that's all I got.
I had one question.
Sure.
Where's my notes? Is there an access point on to FM 2790?
Yes.
Yes.
There is going to be access.
There's an
Okay.
existing driveway up there now.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, they did a pretty good job when they presented, highlighting the entrances and exits also for our fire department. Make sure that we had the thoroughfare and stuff, so that worked out really good in their design. Be able to do that. Thanks for being here, Rick. Appreciate it.
Mayor, I'd like to go ahead and make that motion.
Yes,
I
sir.
don't want to have to reread it, but
Resolution for 2415.
it's a long one.
That's all you need.
You
Yeah.
can just state, I make a motion to approve resolution 24-15 as read.
Okay, Mayor, I would make a motion to approve resolution 24-15
Okay, as read.
as presented.
Okay, as presented.
I'll second that.
Got a second? Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. The ayes have it. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Great work out there. We got people that are waiting to go ahead and start using that car wash. I'm telling you. I know. You're going to get busy over there. That's a pretty sweet design. Yes, sir. Have a great evening. Thank you. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to G, consideration and possible action concerning ordinance 24 XX and ordinance in the City of Lytle, Texas, adopting Rosewood Estates Unit 1 streets as city streets, ordering the speed limit on Rosewood Estates Unit 1 streets in the City of Lytle, Texas, to be fixed at 25 miles per hour, adding adopted streets to the city map, authorizing and adopting the location of installed stop signs, and setting of stop signs to be installed, finding that fixing the speed limit and authorizing the speed limit and stop signs is in the best interest of the public health, safety, and welfare of citizens of the city of Lytle, Texas, and its inhabitants, declaring a public purpose, incorporating residuals, providing a severity, providing a repealer clause, providing a penalty, requiring publication, and setting an effective date. Zach.
All right, Mayor and Council. So this is the final step for Rosewood 1, accepting of the streets and setting the speed limit so that if need be, Richie can stop some people over there, make that legal. The one thing I want to note, so the 25 speed limit is what we have with Saddle Ridge and any of the other subdivisions that we've done, or sections that we've done over in Saddle Ridge. The list that was of all the street signs and stop signs is for Exhibit B is accurate. But the one thing that, and we'll make sure to get the replacement exhibits for the final version, is there are 2 streets that are listed in their actual like visual exhibits of the street layout that have changed since they originally presented the locations of the stop signs. So just the street names have changed, but the actual Exhibit B shows all of them to be accurate. So we'll just make sure to switch that out beforehand. But that's pretty much it. So this is just the acceptance of the streets and the signs and the speed limit.
And it's basically so we can take responsibility for them.
Correct. Correct. There is still a year warranty that the developer has on the once we've accepted the streets, but that we still have to take control over them by doing this. So this does that.
Okay. Council?
Mayor, I want to make a motion for the acceptance of ordinance 24-XX to be determined as presented.
Okay. Second? Okay. Any discussion? Richie, any concerns?
No, we looked at all that. Everything's fine. Just remind us, so once y'all accept it tonight,
We'll have to publish it.
publish it, and then then it actually becomes
Correct.
public roadway enforcement.
Yes.
How much time is that? Is it 30 days or after we publish it?
Typically, you would give warnings for a little while, but it would be.
Oh, no, I mean, I'm not looking, I'm just.
I just meant that
Yes. Technically, once it's published,
Technically,
that-
once it's published, but usually there's like a 30-day window.
Yeah, it's a
Making
typical
everybody
30.
aware, but
Okay.
Technically, once it's published, yes.
Okay.
I'm more concerned from my standpoint, public roadway, it's easier to stop people for, if you're checking out suspicious vehicles for a traffic violation. Where if you're on a private roadway, you're not required, if it's a private drive, you're not required to have headlights at night, or that type of stuff. But, no, yeah, I mean, I don't see that, there's not that many houses, there's 4 people living out there.
Or, yeah.
I know 2 of them, it's kind of weird. They're not weird, it's the fact that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Too much, Richie. All right. All right. No other further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All yeas. Okay. Thank you so much, Council.
Will we post the speed limit sign, or we'll need to get those posted in order?
Public Works.
Yeah, between y'all and Public Works, yeah.
Robbie is like, look.
Not to add more to your plate.
Robbie, it's 30 days. Okay, so we got some time. We put a picture of Richie in the interest. We'll be okay. That'll be good. There you go. That's it. That's it. Deterrence at its best. That's how it works. All right, let's go ahead and move on to H, consideration and possible action concerning calling a special council meeting for the purpose of interviewing and filling the position of Animal Care and Control Director.
All right.
Zach.
So the data sheet, as indicated, we received 1 application for the Animal Care and Control Director position. Since I wrote this up, we've actually received an additional 2 applications. So we have 3 total. So obviously I don't have any dates in mind, so I wanted to bring it forward, but not that I don't enjoy Betty out there, and I'm sure she enjoys it too, but I know we, really need to find somebody that's suited for the city and get someone in that position. So wanted to bring that to y'all.
We're still looking at about at least a month out, because 2 weeks out to
Yeah.
go ahead and schedule them to come in and do the interview, and then you got to give them the 2 weeks for them to do their notice, depending on where they're at. So you're still looking about a month out.
Yeah.
At least that's if everything lines up.
Yeah.
So is there a particular date, Zach, that you were looking at, or?
Not necessarily. I know we did the last one, I think, on a was it a Wednesday or a Thursday? So, but it's really up to y'all. So we don't have any current P&Z meetings. We don't. Obviously, we have the next council meeting on 2 Mondays from now.
What's it, April 26th?
That's the 22nd is our normal council meeting.
Oh, yes.
If y'all want attorney representation, then I would make sure you work on
Thursday's
all
good
the-
for you? Is that usually the day that works better for you?
If it's not, if it's gonna be, like a Wednesday night or Thursday night is better. If it's gonna be not on your regular night.
How does the 25th of April look? Is that too far out?
I don't think it's too far out. It gives them time to plan, but
Yeah, well, I'm looking to give them the 2 weeks, right? At least a minimum. Right.
If I have a conflict, another attorney, I can just email or my team.
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, he was there last.
I have a request.
Yes.
We have 3 applicants now, which is great. Would it be possible to have them to come visit us up there before their interview? Because they need to know what it is.
Oh, you want to run them all.
No, but I mean,
You and the city administrator can go ahead and talk to them if you want to meet with them. But in the sense of the interviewing, we got completely, yeah. But you're more welcome to talk to them.
but I do want to have.
Yeah.
be able to- If I know what it takes to do.
Y'all can talk to them.
You can invite them for a tour.
Yeah.
But make sure that each one is reached out to and given that same opportunity to have.
That's already.
The 25th? How does it look for everybody?
So Wednesday.
Thursday.
There's
That's fine.
That's fine. Miguel, you good? 25th? 25th? That's all?
Yeah, I guess it's all right.
Okay. We're gonna do the 25th and
Normal 6:30.
6:30.
If y'all could probably arrive a little earlier, that way we're covered.
Have you closed it already, or is it?
It's technically still open,
Okay.
just because I wasn't receiving any, and then we got the one, and then now we got 2 additional ones. So
Okay.
You ready for a motion, Mayor?
Mhm.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we hold a special meeting on April 25th at 6:30 in chambers here for the purpose of interviewing and possibly filling the position of animal care and control director.
Okay. Got a motion on the floor for us to go ahead and do the 25th of April at 6:30. Have a second?
I'll second.
You second? Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. All yeas. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, council. Let's go ahead and move on to I. Discussion and possible action concerning entering into a lease purchase agreement with Lidle State Bank for the purchase of 2 police vehicles from Cadwell. Is that right?
Caldwell.
Caldwell Country Chevrolet. This is Zach and Richie.
Yeah, so Mayor and Council, I don't know if y'all recall, but back in 2022, Council agreed to enter a lease purchase agreement with Lidle State Bank for the purchase of these 2 police vehicles. At the time, the payment term was for four payments at an interest rate of 2.970. And the original purchase price of the vehicles total for the 2 total was $153,600. So that came out to about $165 181 with the interest. Obviously, we never got those vehicles based on various reasons, and we are finally
A couple weeks out? We should, well, we're trying to give a call back. One's ready, the other one should.
okay. So based on that, Richie went down to Lotto State Bank, and we figured the interest rate has changed, and so that's why we're bringing it back forth. The other thing is the full cost now really includes the true outfitting, full outfitting of the vehicles. So the cost is $167,188 for the purchase of the two vehicles with the outfitting. Lytle State Bank did offer two different options, so payment term of 3 payments or 4 payments, same interest rate of 3.950. And obviously then the total payment would either be $180,566 or $184,22, depending on how many terms y'all chose. In speaking with Lynette, who obviously is not here, but when we were putting the item together and finalizing the item, she also felt that there was enough money in the bank and various things that if we wanted to make a direct payment, we would have enough coverage to do that, and we wouldn't have to spread it over the terms. But that's totally up to y'all. Just we're bringing it as a lease purchase because that's what was previously discussed and agreed upon. Just obviously with the interest rate change and the full cost change, wanted to bring that forth. The vehicles themselves hadn't really changed. It's really just the additional outfitting that to get it fully on the street, ready to go.
Cameras at the time, and back
Come on.
at the time, we knew our camera systems were not that manufacturer sold out. So that was the plan. Was we knew we were going to buy the cameras at some point, but we didn't order them with the vehicle because we didn't know what we were using. So then we've had to since order the camera. So that brought the price up is about $15,000. And some of that includes of course, technology's changed a lot even in the last 18 months. So now they don't offer one thing; they offer it'll auto upload from the car. It doesn't even need to come to the station. The hotspot in the car will upload the video to the cloud. So anyway, so that's what we're looking at on those.
So this is an actual purchase of the vehicles? We're buying them? Or are we?
It's not really originally we looked at like some of these companies lease, they lease when at the end of the year you pay $1. This would basically be just like if you went to Lyle State Bank and bought a tractor and they financed it for 4 years, you made four payments. If we go that route, yes, sir.
It's not really a true lease purchase, but that's how it was presented previously.
Yes, originally because we were looking at other options.
2 questions. One for Richie. What year model are these trucks? Since we ordered in 22, what year model?
Good question. So these were actually got off the line right barely before the strike, or we wouldn't probably even get them.
Okay.
They are actually 23s that were built like in November or something. So they just kept
22.
No, of 23.
Building.
So,
Okay.
so they're actually, normally if you buy a vehicle, normally if we order a vehicle in October, in the good old days, we'd order a vehicle October 1st, council would approve it, we'd have it up and running by December, fully outfitted. And they would be, if we ordered it in say October, 2010, that car would be a 2011 automatically. Well, these are actually, so these are going to be 23s, but luckily they're not going to be 22s, but yes, sir.
All right, and the second question is, if I understood you correctly, Zach, Lynette's saying we can write a check for these? And
again, she's not here. She's not here, so
a budget amendment to do that?
Yes, we would definitely have to have a budget amendment because obviously it's not been budgeted appropriately. Which I mean, none of these options were technically budgeted. Either way, regardless of what you do tonight, it will take at some point a budget amendment. We wanted to figure out how we wanted to do it, and then bring that obviously as with the next budget amendment that we bring forth. But she's indicating, looking at everything and where we're maintaining in the general fund with increased sales tax and all that kind of stuff that we're seeing, that we have enough coverage where we wouldn't have to make the payments, but it's really just a third option for y'all to consider. So, but again, I'm not the finance person. We talked about it. I feel comfortable with where her numbers are, but she's not here to speak to it. So
You don't know if that would include cashing in any CDs or anything?
it would not, for sure. We did not discuss any CD cashing.
So we're roughly $13,000 we could save by paying up front.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's other things we need to consider too. Additional personnel, other expenses that we're gonna have. I would feel comfortable that pays off. So that way we can open up for the budget for all these other items we're looking at.
Question, if we make a decision tonight to pay them off immediately, is that cast in stone? We can't change that if something comes up and as we work through the budget or something like that?
I wouldn't think so. I don't think. I mean, we're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they were to make a decision to just pay them outright. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that would happen pretty quick then because.
Yes.
Well, if
We're
we
gonna-
get the cars, which should be in a week or two at the most, unless something terrible's happened, then it'd be.
You're looking at 30, 45 day
Yeah.
turnaround to pay that.
So we would need to make sure, because in this one, basically, this is us entering into a lease purchase agreement. So if we go with a motion to go ahead and do that, we're basically going to go ahead and deny this. And then the next meeting come back and then put it on the agenda for us to go ahead and do it that way.
We would just do it as a budget amendment at that point.
That's
I would
correct.
just bring it as a budget amendment.
And one
Or you
reason.
could table it.
One reason we looked at this was because in this agreement with Lyle, there wouldn't be any payment due in this budget year. So there would be no impact on this budget year. The first payment due would be in the next,
October 1, yeah.
a year from when we get it.
Oh, a year from when we get them.
Yes, that's what, yes.
But what I was getting at is that if we go ahead and pay for it now, that leaves open the budget.
Well, personally, we have always paid cash for our police vehicles and equipment in the 24 plus years that I've been a police chief. The economy's changed, our city's needs have changed, and the reason we looked at this option, was to not tie up all our cash in case we needed it for something else. So I think personally, I think it's always good to pay as you go if you can, but again, I'm not the finance, we can't look at the whole picture, but I just wanted to.
I think the problem, if y'all are considering the third option, I think we have some time to bring this, if we just table it and so Lynette can actually speak to it and we can really show you where the finances are, because I think that's the concern a little bit, just making sure we're covered 100%. I don't think if we table it, it doesn't take the lease purchase off the table.
So Mayor, with the idea of wanting to go with option 3, I want to make a motion to table this item
Okay.
Bring it back April 22nd.
to be brought back on April the 22nd, the next
I'll
city
second that.
council meeting.
Second.
Okay. Got it? And I got a second. Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries for us to go ahead and table it till next.
What?
No.
Oh, no.
No, there's
No, we're good.
We've been
Yeah.
waiting so long now.
We probably couldn't lose on.
Yeah, no.
I knew you just said something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think the only thing, once again, is just make sure that we get all the finances stuff.
100%.
So be ready to
Yeah.
be on that one. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. Yeah, let's go ahead and take care of this one, and then we'll go into break. It's almost time to go ahead. So let's go ahead and move on to J, discussion, update, and possible action concerning changes to the employee handbook as it relates to vacation payouts at the end of the calendar year.
All right, so Mayor and Council, staff and we've been looking at some issues with where our employee book basically indicates, and the specific language is highlighted in the data sheet for y'all, but basically under vacation leave, it indicates that at the end of each calendar year, or as funds are available, balances more than these maximums, which the annual maximums are listed above in the table, will be paid to the employee. What we're running into is pretty large payouts sometimes because staff is, carrying a large percentage towards the end of the year and they didn't get a chance to use it or whatnot, and then they're getting a payout at the end of the year, which in some years has been really high and some years have been lower. But it's money that we're not budgeting for. We're not anticipating. We can't really budget for it because we don't know what that's going to look like. And it kind of just some other reasons that Lynette put together and listed in there for y'all. So we're looking to add some language where, take that section out. Obviously, we're not changing the amount of maximum hours that they can carry over, but it would almost be a use it or lose it. If you have over that maximum, then at the end of the year, you would lose those hours. The only thing is, and I've talked with all the department heads, and the only feedback and concern that I think has been expressed is that they want to make sure that in emergency situations, if we're dealing with certain things and, throughout the city, and we get to a point at the end of the year where, crap, no one was able to really use some vacation, then we build in some sort of approval process so that it's not an end-all be-all in those situations. And whether that's an approval process with the city administrator or with council or a combination of the two, we don't have that language fully vetted out, but this is more of bring it to y'all's attention that this is something that I think we need to correct and have a discussion and see if y'all are on the same page with moving forward in that direction. So,
I've got some comment as well.
sure. Okay. So,
I think one of the things in favor of what you're proposing here, and I think we've seen this in recent years here in the city, some people just don't like to take any kind of vacation time. Yeah. And that's ultimately not good for them and not good for the city.
Correct.
So this really encourages people to take vacation time, even if they sit at home. They just get a break from the action.
Correct.
But the second thing, I know in the military, if I'm not wrong, and maybe it changed, you had like 2 years. You couldn't accrue more than 2 years worth of leave time, and then you would lose anything after. Is that right?
The 60 days. The 60
When you
days.
accrue up to 60 days, then you lose it. Okay. It's 30 days a year. Right. Yeah. So that might be something before you bring it back in the final form to us. You might look at that because there are contingencies or things that pop up.
100%.
And people just can't do it this year, but maybe next year they can catch up. And
I think the biggest thing we're trying to get to, and something I've expressed with staff is, let's plan it out at the beginning of the year. And if things pop up in the, we have a bunch of main breaks throughout the year, which is what happened this last year. And we had some payouts in Public Works, and those made sense, right? Like they were clearly. You could point to reasons why, and again, it could be like we look at carrying it over for a couple months and you use it in that time, or so that you don't lose it if there's those situations, or there's plenty of ways we could go about this. Again, this was the initial conversation to say, hey, is staff, is administration on the right path with moving forward in this direction?
And just as a reminder for the council, and don't forget what our auditors have said in the past too. Okay, that's been an item of interest that has been brought up to us of how we do things with our vacation. So I think if just like Zach is saying, if we plan it out, somebody says, hey, we're going to need to, Cassandra plans it out. Says, I'm going to take vacation here, here, and here. Well, something happens in the library, and we already have documentation that she was supposed to be on leave, but something happened and she had to stay. Well, it's easy to show in the books that somebody was already scheduled for vacation and something happened. we got something to connect to, where before we didn't really have anything. So, and I think the option that Zach is doing, he can always come back to the council and say, hey, here's a vacation that was planned out. Robbie had a major water leak. He couldn't take it. We got these days. He's coming back for us to be able to make an adjustment on that. And it's easy to be able to point that out because it was already laid out, and we did have an incident or something that happened before that.
I'd like to see it come before us for final approval.
That's
Well,
correct.
I'll make a little comment, because ours works a little different. Our situation would be, in which I think a perfect idea would let that city administrator give him, if you can't do it, you give him, like if I've got some guys couldn't take vacation, because see, this is calendar year, so it is December 31st. November, December are difficult times for us. Where if the city administrator has, if they can't get it by December 31st, then they're gonna get one shot to get it in by, March 1st. Because ours, it's not gonna be a water leak. It's gonna be, we're maybe several officers short.
Yeah.
So, to me, if you could, it just, if the year fell like, if the start of the year, if it wasn't calendar year and it started in July, it'd be a little easier. But that's my deal, is just something, and ours would be, and our department's not an issue. Our people take their vacation. I mean, everybody, so that's not, I'm not letting, but I'm just saying that's our scenario. If we're short, then, it may be harder during, October, if we're short during that holiday period because it's busy for us. But anyway, that's just, other than that, we need something like this because there's a lot of people who don't want to take vacation. And they're workaholics, and that's good, but it's not good for them. And,
Well, and it's, you hear a lot of times, fraud, waste, and abuse. And one of the very first things they talk about is people not leaving the office, people staying at the office and not wanting to take vacations because, they're holding on to things or whatever. And so it just, like you said, it kind of pushes in that direction. Like, you got to take it, you're going to lose it otherwise, so take it.
How long do you need, if we table this tonight, to come in with a really done version of what you're proposing?
Go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. I think what we're trying to do is to go ahead and say we want to do this.
Yeah.
For him to then in turn come back later with the proposed changes.
With the
Correct.
discussion part.
Correct.
So
I'm looking for direction.
We're
Make
saying
sure this is the
we
right
want him to go
process.
put something together and come back to the council for us to go ahead and review and
We need
approve.
to give them a time frame to come back to us?
It's up to you. I mean,
That's my question.
Well, so I've already started. We briefed me on it. So I want to work with her and coming up with the right language that it needs to be. I mean,
2 weeks,
potentially, I would say potentially next meeting, but I would say definitely in May, if not
let's do
before next.
it
meeting.
for the first meeting in May. That'll give them the 30 days for them. Yeah.
Yes.
Look at all that.
Okay, and then I would make a motion that we approve city administrator and other staff to change, or give us proposals to change the vacation payouts at the end of the calendar year. And bring that back to us the first council meeting in May.
Okay. Got a motion on the floor?
I'll second.
Okay. Got a second? Any further discussion?
So what you're talking about is a double-edged sword, and you're really opening up a can of worms. You're stating that there are employees that, in lieu of taking vacation, will really get paid out.
So currently, right now, if you got to the end of the year,
But I'm asking is, do we currently have employees that would rather, in lieu of taking a vacation day, get paid out?
there, yeah.
Okay, and then the second part of that is that coverage. If a person wants to take vacation and there's no coverage for that person, I mean, if we're gonna decide that we're not gonna allow carryover and we're gonna have them use vacation on that particular calendar year and not pay out.
Yeah.
Then we have to make allowances for them to be able to take the vacation when they want it.
Yeah.
Not when the city feels like they should
Oh,
have,
100%.
but when they want it.
100%.
And you may incur overtime costs covering while you're forcing that.
And that's, unfortunately, that's what,
100%.
that's that's the road that you travel down with.
And I want to make sure, like, we're not eliminating the carryover altogether, right? Like, the annual maximum that you can carry over is
No, that's not being
looking to change
adjusted.
any of that.
Yeah.
But yes, and part of, I think, at the beginning of each year, planning that out helps with that issue of, coverage and things
Yes.
like that. Yes. But yeah, we as a team need to make sure that, like, we're covering and everything for people that need to be out. We have 2 utility, they can't be both out at the same time because that puts strain on, everything. So we got to plan those appropriately.
So the accrual is, if I'm looking at a 10 to 14 year employee,
Mhm.
they're going to get 120 hours that year added?
Well, every year they get 120 hours that they're accruing.
So is the office, or can the office be lenient as to where the person wants to have some sick time but would rather take a vacation day instead of a sick day?
Well, I mean, like me, for example, I have 5 weeks of vacation I have to use. That's to keep me under. But I have hundreds and hundreds of hours of sick leave.
Right.
So most employees either have plenty of everything. Now, I'm going to throw this in there because we're talking, and I've got one of the largest departments as far as employee-wise. You've seen it at Buc-ee's. They'll let you use your vacation. They'll buy. You can roll it. You can buy it. They'll buy it from you. They'll, let you take it. I've also seen something that I like that kind of meets in the middle. If you want to take your vacation, if you can't take your vacation, you come up to that, and we have to buy it back. We're only giving you 50 cents on the dollar for it. That's just things I've seen, and I mean, not that that's something we want to do, but that's another incentive. Either take vacation, or you're going to get some money, but you're going to get 50 cents on the dollar for it.
Right.
And it's easier to budget because automatically you're cutting half your cost in half.
And that would be an option if that was on the table here, but I believe what we have on the table now is that they're going to use it or lose it.
Well, I tell you what, I don't think we're not. I mean, if my guys had to lose 2 weeks, if it got to the point where it said you can't take vacation and you're going to lose it, then as soon as I tell them that, they're going to go apply somewhere else. I mean, that's just the way it right now in today's market. So this is a double-edged sword, like you said. Employees need to take vacation. And maybe we have to phase it in over, I don't know. I mean, it's really.
Well, I'm just going based on the way it's worded here.
And the thing is, just for everybody understanding, is we're not looking at all vacation. We're looking at the days that you can't carry over. That's the critical portion out of this.
Right. My concern is with the maximum hours that you're allowed to hold.
Mm-hmm.
So that 10 to 14 year period, the maximum allowed is 160 hours.
Yeah.
So anything after 160, no matter how they accrue it, they're going to lose it. Or are we going to pay it out depending on how we end up with this?
Well, once again,
right now you do pay it out.
So
you're right. Yeah.
Right now you do pay it
So
out.
you look at whatever is the extra, and we need to make sure that we have accountability scheduled. And what Zach is saying, we're talking to them. They plan out the whole year. I'm taking leave here, 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 here. Got it set. We're going to cover the extra, so everything should be covered. If something comes up, whether it's minimal manning, whether it's something with a pipe or something in the library because somebody quit or something happened, now we have something to base ourselves to come back and say, hey, we're going to have to pay the extra that goes along with that. Right now, the way that we've been operating, and once again, just a reminder, our auditors have told us this, we're not operating within the parameters of how we're supposed to be managing the program. So one of the recommendations is something like this, where we have something in place where we'll have documentation that if they extend and we say we're going to allow them to carry over, we're going to go ahead and do that. We don't have that right now.
Right.
So we need to figure this out and try to come up with the options.
And the reason I think this is still probably the best plan, how we come up with, is because we're not changing the amount they can hold in their bank, at the end of the year. So, because a lot of people, they got potentially, their parents are getting older, they're having to start, so we've given them plenty of extra time. If they've been here a number of years, they can, like me, I'm at 240, that's what's that, 6 weeks? So that gives you some of that time that I can, so I gotta burn 5 weeks this year, and then by the time the year gets here, and I'll have, so we're not taking that away, so this is kind of at least a way to phase in some progress, some better, I don't know what the answer is, but again, I deal with, as a leader in the department, I mean, we start working with guys taking vacation all the time, because I got a lot of people who, you know, they work and they have odd days off, so they don't need as many days off, because they may be off 4 days in a row. So we work at it, and of course, last year we had I think we had Matt on because he came back at like 10 hours.
He had 10 hours, and then I think you had like 0.8
Yeah,
on.
0.8 for everybody else. So
Yeah.
we're not the problem, but that doesn't start, to get to that point we're at last year, I just started January 1st working on it, and you have to be hands-on to put it together.
And based on what you said, and I'm not trying to be a wise guy here, and I respect what you said, but I can't tell you on January 1, my parents are going to be sick on
Yes, sir.
the 25th to the 27th. So what I'm stating is that the city needs to be lenient on approval. So I don't know what your requirement is, if it's 2 weeks, if it's a month ahead of time, or you can only do it at the beginning of the year. But when you look at this and rework this, try to keep all that in consideration.
100%.
And if we do decide that we're not going to let them carry over, or we're not going to pay it out, then we need to give them the opportunity to use it. And if they choose not to,
And I think the city is always pretty lenient and you know, with. I mean, listen,
unfortunately, I've heard complaints that it's not. So, but that's a different administration. That's not here.
Yeah.
Really, I shouldn't waste time on it, but.
Because you're correct. I mean, if I went to my officers in January and said, hey, when are y'all gonna be off, probably get it done.
I have no
Yeah, I have no clue.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is that before, I think we were missing the element for years and years and years.
So let's
of-
move
of
forward.
planning it.
Yes.
And once you have it planned out, you have special circumstances where you can adjust and add and do everything, but at least it's planned out. It's not, hey, it's November the 1st and you got to burn so many days and now somebody has to leave just to be able to do that. Where if you have it laid out for the whole year, you're just covering that gap to be able to take care of the last minute ones. So that's what we're talking about.
We can always vote against what they bring to us if we don't
100%.
like it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to trust the staff here
Yep.
to take into consideration everything we said and to do the right thing and come back with
It's
a.
a council policy decision.
Yeah.
Staff is just giving you
Sure.
options on what legally you can do,
Right.
and then you decide what's best for the
Absolutely.
city.
Yeah, and if we're going to take the time to write it down, let's do it right.
Roger that?
It's not a
Thank you.
final decision tonight, it's just a move forward. tonight.
Yes,
It's just
100%.
exploring the change because of the audit
Yep.
situation.
All right. Any further discussion? Once again, the motion is for us to go ahead and empower our administrator to go ahead and bring those back to us on the first meeting in May, first council meeting in May. Okay, all those in favor? Any opposed? All right, motion carries forward. Approved. Let's go ahead and show Paula, we good? Okay, let's go ahead and go on a 10-minute break. It's 8:08. I think Paula's got some goodies in the back for us. Take a little break. Okay, let's go ahead and take a break. Thank you.
Oh.
What?
Thanks, Rob.
Oh, we need to change
I
that.
thought it was just decoration. I don't know.
It's a
Okay, let's go ahead and show 824. 824, let's go ahead and show that we're back. And let's go ahead and council, let's go ahead and move on to K, discussion and possible action concerning appointment of members to the Mobile Home Commission. Zach.
All right, so we have had a couple people resign from the Mobile Home Commission. And so we only have 2 members that are currently on there. And we did receive an application in the last week to actually go on the agenda for the Mobile Home Commission. So we need to really work at trying to get those reappointed. I don't think that originally some of the Samantha or Lynn were appointed by their respective districts, but the ordinance does dictate that they should align to councilman's districts. And they make the recommendation, and then ultimately council as a full body of votes. So the 2 that we have left are Ms. Samantha Sanchez, who was appointed in September of 2023. She actually aligns to District 3. And then Ms. Anderson, Lynn Anderson, who was reappointed in 2020 to the Mobile Home Commission, is in District 1. So that technically they 2, 4, and 5 to align to districts.
Oh, so those are the 2 that are good to go.
Good to go. 1 and 3 are good.
Good to go. Okay, so then,
Is Donna no longer on that?
No, we've had, so there were 2 resignations that we've received in the last month or so.
Mhm.
And then there was, I can't remember his name now. Yes, Troy Whitney had previously, before I got here.
so the person that you already had or submitted, do you know what district?
You're talking about for submission of the mobile?
The most recent one?
I do not know.
Okay.
Sorry. You're talking about like for the application.
Yeah. Did you say what? Did I misunderstood?
So, yeah, I think you misunderstood. So
Okay.
the application we received is to go onto the agenda of the Mobile Home Commission. Like, there's
Got it.
some
So you have some action that they need to
Correct.
take. Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay, so right now we can't even put them together. We don't have a quorum. Okay, so we need one from Richard, Michael, and then,
Mr. Martinez will be coming in, so, but yeah, we need it ASAP.
We'd obviously, 3 makes 4. So, we at least need 1 more, and then, but ideally, so we can actually make sure if anybody's absent or whatnot.
well, if we can get them in, if we have 2, if we can get 2 more at least taken care of within
I would say
next
next
week.
meeting, we need to have that taken care of, so that way we.
Well, let's do it by next Tuesday, so we can have it ready if we're going to put the agenda together.
Correct.
So can you all get by next, not this Tuesday, but the following Tuesday, and get the names to Paula and Zach? Can you do that? From your districts to be representatives for the mobile.
Find somebody quick.
Yeah.
The 16th.
Yes. By 16th, so if you guys can do that, that would be great.
I have a question, comment.
Yeah.
Several months ago, probably over a year, it's quite a few months,
Okay.
I had asked that the city look at all our commissions or committees
Yes.
to try to align the current members and what district, either their I guess what district they reside in, but what district they currently represent. So I know there's a lot of overlap in some of these, or they used to be overlap.
Yeah.
If we could get that same, like, if I could put in that same request to
Yes.
get the city to look at all our committees and try to align the current members.
We can. And I will say, as we heard earlier this evening, it sounds like we're going to need some people for
Yeah.
Keep Out Beautiful as well. So,
Yes.
but yes, we can pull that together and then have that for the next meeting, and then hopefully if y'all come up and with the names and put that on as well.
Can we go ahead and table this one? Can I get a motion for us to just go ahead and table it since it's the appointment of members?
I'll make that motion to table it. Until when? April 22nd.
Okay. Got a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? Okay, got a second? Richard. Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Thank you, thank you. Thanks, Zach. All right, let's go ahead and move over to the executive session number 7, the executive session that we have on there. And this is item number 7, the City of Lido may convene an executive session in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Section 551.071, consultations with attorney, Section 551.072, deliberation regarding real property, to discuss and consider the following items. A, Saddle Ridge Estates subdivision easements. So if you can show us, Paula, it's at 8:30. Us going into executive session. Zach and Molly, if you can please join us in the back, that would be great. Appreciate that. Back on? Okay, let's go ahead and show that we're back, Paola, 9:02 p.m. And we'll just go ahead and move on to item number, no action taken, and we'll go ahead and go on to item number 8, discussion and possible actions regarding matters discussed in executive session.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion.
Okay,
I move that we authorize our city administrator to negotiate with the developer of Shallow Ridge housing concerning easements that were discussed in the executive session, and to have him bring up to them all the concerns and considerations discussed by the council.
okay. Got a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? Got a second? Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, thank you, council. Appreciate that. Let's go ahead and move on to item number 9, and we have the department reports. And the first one that we have, we'll have Betty with the Animal Care and Control Department. Just do the old school next.
We had 25 calls for service, and y'all can read all that. 31 dogs and 4 cats at the end of March. And we did have a cat specimen that was tested for rabies, and it was negative.
Came back negative.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then transfers to rescue, we had 15, and that's where all they went. A few volunteer hours, so we had 3, so 28 hours. And that was Bella's Pantry. We had 91 pet owners, and Ruben works there and helps out too. And we actually asked the people what time were they in line. That we asked the third car, what time did you get in line? And they were in line at 3:15 a.m.
3:15 in the morning, they got in line to get, yeah.
That kind of blew me away. I knew they were there early, but I had no idea. 3:15. We had a Parvo puppy come in, and but on the very same day, we have a miracle drug now. It's canine parvovirus monoclonal antibody, and we purchased it. It's $1,200 for 6 vials, and we would spend $1,200, and Allies paid for it. City didn't pay for it, and it was a one-shot deal, and the pup survived, and he's doing great, and so nobody else came down with it. So it for a facility that's a miracle.
And it's a good thing because it contains it, so you don't have to
Yeah,
worry.
it does. Yeah,
so it stops it. and
I mean,
that's
the
other
dog
thing
was
to worry
just
about.
What is that? I'm not familiar with that.
canine parvovirus. It's intestinal, and it's through feces and spit of dogs. And if they walk in it and lick their paws or something, especially puppies, they didn't have any kind of immunity. And it basically sloughs off the inside of the stomach. And so they're pooping out blood or they're vomiting blood. And they die actually from dehydration, not from the disease. But this stopped it. And I am thrilled beyond all words because we have lost so many dogs in the past before we knew about this. And so it worked out real well. So we're happy about it. Jalen completed her ACE training. She passed the course, and then the 23rd, Dragonfly, and then March 30th was Bella's Pantry. Our update, we're doing good. The fences, we're still kind of working on those. I had one exhaust fan, but they've both been put in now, and that sucker can pull some air. It's amazing. We did, and it goes in their kennels. And the AC coils replaced, grates have been replaced, kennel doors, we're still working on that. Outdoor area, we still have some things that need to be hauled off. And then Cowboy Pest Control came in, and they're going to work on us with a monthly basis. And then we also have a couple of things that we're going to try. So it's going to be fancy. Have you ever heard of mouse bait lid? No, of course not. Well, it's on Amazon. And it's just a lid, and you put it in a 5-gallon bucket, put some water in the bottom of that thing, and it has a little step. And you put peanut butter, and they go up there and go,
They take a dive into the
take a
pool.
dive. My fear is that I'm going to look in there one of these days. It's going to be
So as Betty and they've been cleaning out, if you remember, she had mentioned to us about cleaning out the different places, especially the old shed. We knew that we were going to have mice that were pretty much, I mean, that shed has not been touched for,
That's the shed right there.
yeah. How long had that not been
Well, I
touched?
left for 6 years, and it looks like it hadn't been touched for 6 years. But we got to work on it, and next picture, and that is what it looks like.
Looks like that.
But all that stuff that was in there was covered with mouse nastiness, and it was just unbelievable. So the guys, that's the old shed, and then we have obviously the food shed. So anyway, it's we're hoping that we're going to get a grip on it right now. So upcoming, Melinda attended an online training, and Jalen, she has her military duty. Saturday is Dragonfly, and then the 27th is Bella's Pantry. And that's all I got. I got no more.
No more, Betty?
No more.
No more?
Let me think. Nope, that's about it. So
Vehicles are good, right?
vehicles are good. Oh yeah, I had took the van to Patriot, and Christian did a great job.
We'll take care of the stuff.
Yeah.
I noticed on there, so during the cleanup, we're going to get some of your other stuff to get
Yeah.
thrown out.
A lot of it is already gone. It's been moved, gone. And so we have a whole bunch of they were the kennels from the original one. Thick plastics that were made up the individual separators.
Yeah.
And those suckers are heavy. So we need to, and they're all behind that shed. We need to get that moved out. So, but we're getting there, and we are probably going to euthanize 5 dogs this week. And it's not something I want to do, but it's something we have to do. So, anyway, that's it.
When was the dragonfly spay and neutered?
What is it? It's,
The
well, you've seen them up there. Yeah.
was the 15th?
Yeah. She's coming she's coming this Saturday, the 13th.
Oh, 15th.
Yeah. The 13th. Yeah.
Usually it's the third.
No, it
varies. Okay,
whenever she can come. In May, she's going to come twice.
twice.
And I've just about got my wait list gone through. I mean, it's just when you offer, surgery for $80 for a dog and $40 for a cat, word gets out really, really fast. And so I've got quite a wait list. But she's fantastic, and she works with us so well. And I love her staff, and it just goes smooth, And it's very needed, and it's very appreciated. Now, I will tell you one thing about Bella's Pantry. We get more thank yous from that, and I say thank yous, I mean, these people need it. I mean, they need help. Dog food's expensive, cat food's expensive, but they love their pets. But it makes the city look so good because nobody else does this. I mean, that's why they come from all these cities, because they don't have this opportunity in their town. And so it makes us look really, really good. And
Y'all do a good job, because I've been there,
Yeah.
what was it, a month ago or so?
Oh, yeah.
And it was in
Yeah.
and out.
Yeah.
Smoothly, like you said.
Yeah, it's Dr. Bridgman, we'd be lost without her when she comes and brings her truck or van. So anyway, but everything's going good.
Council?
We're going forward. Okie dokie.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that. All right, Cassandra.
All right, we had 94 users for the computers in the adults and 83 on the kids. 1,500 checkouts in March. The stats were not available. They'll probably be there tomorrow on those. And then we had 8 new accounts and 20 renewals, and April made 22 library cards. And I added this time the library crochet group because we've had 2 meetings with the ladies. They love it. In fact, some of them have asked if we could meet twice a month. They liked it so much because it's the time for them to come and relax and get together with other people who know this craft. So they'll sit there and they're giggling back there and they're just having a good
Is it
time.
that back room? Is
No,
that
no, it's in the other area where next to the restrooms.
Got it.
So,
Okay.
but they're having so much fun. They really enjoy it. And we had new faces this last time around. So they're excited about the next session. It's going to be on the 25th. We're still working on this and still offering the curbside. And that's for the month of March, our calendar. And those are our displays. It was Irish American Heritage, and then I think Women's History, Craft Month, Texas History, and then we had Barbie and Mario Month. Or Barbie and Mario Day, I'm sorry.
Mm.
And then the library is going to be closed next week. I already talked to Zach about this because Joe is out on sick leave. She had surgery, and so she won't be back until May. And so it was hard. We don't have another body. So April and I are both registered to go to the library conference that's in San Antonio next week. So
Okay.
we've already let people know. It's on the website, and I put it on the door. And we've been letting
The
people know.
Wi-Fi is still going to be
Oh,
accessible,
yeah,
right?
they can still.
Yeah, they can
that's- I
park
told them-
outside.
That's what I told people, because we've had people come up, well, how am I going to do this? There's a table outside, you can sit underneath there. I said, there's a plug outside if you need to plug in. If you can sit in your car, those will still be available. If they need to renew, they can still access their account, or they can call us this week and we'll renew it or set up for another date.
You probably already did this, but did we let the schools know?
No, because I usually tell the kids that come after school, hey, we're going to be closed, so they know they'll just sit outside.
Just let them know, let the counselors, because sometimes they say, hey, you can go do a little bit more research, and they might
Yes.
send them your way.
Okay,
So-
I'll let them know.
Let them know.
Okay.
That'll be good.
All right, any
Yes, sir.
question?
Anything?
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. Public Works, Robbie.
All right. We installed 13 new meters, had 1 main break, replaced the service line, bunch of rebates. No sewer stoppages, and well, we have nothing for the sewer. Miscellaneous, 17 work orders. The water usage,
How are we doing on that?
we're still doing okay. We're at 147 for the total since the beginning of the year.
Okay. So, page 3 to 1. And then I just heard, right?
Yeah, they just changed it.
To, I think the 3rd or the 4th of April started stage 3 again.
Yes.
So we updated the sign outside our.
Okay. So then that's going to bring it down a little bit more, our total number, right?
Yeah, it'll be a 35% reduction again instead of 30, so that'll change our overall.
Go back. Okay.
And then update on well 2, we had the Edwards come out of the Railroad Commission. We're gonna go ahead and get an estimate on pulling the pump and the motor off, get the pipe cleaned out, and see where we go from there. Run the camera. Edwards is gonna help us with the camera, so we just gotta do the prep before they come out.
Yep.
But as soon as we get an estimate on that, I'll let y'all know.
Yep. Appreciate all your efforts in bringing everybody together too, so we can kind of get an idea. So it'll be good to try to get a chance. Trying to think, see if there was anything else. Zach?
Nope.
Nope.
Unless there's questions about.
Yeah. We're hoping to get something to you all here probably within the next couple of weeks, hopefully. We're just waiting for the estimate
Yes.
from one of the, right?
Yeah, from UWR from Divine.
So we can go ahead and do that the next step that goes along with that. So we can get it looked at and then be able to take the
Because I'll
next
be
step.
pulling the casing, pump and the motor, and then they'll be vacuuming everything that's out of the pipe, brushing it, pressure washing it. Well, they call it jetting, but yeah. Maybe they might have to soap it just to make sure everything's clean on it. But just getting an estimate first to see how much that's going to run us.
We gotta check the casing, make sure everything is still.
Yeah. So once all that's cleaned out, let it settle for a day or two, and then Edwards will bring the camera and camera it for us.
Be able to do that.
Luckily saving us some money on the camera.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's still going to cost us being able to pull, but I think that the one that Robbie is using or trying to get us to use, they're a lot cheaper, a little bit. They're here in the local area.
Yeah.
Cost effective.
More cost effective.
And Edwards is going to do this pro bono for us for free?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
The camera, yes.
Yep.
We just
Go
got to
in there,
do
we
everything
gotta
else
check
for
the
them.
casing.
Yeah.
Try to do
You know how
that.
deep that well is?
1990.
Yeah.
1990. So, but we need to try to figure out what we can do with it.
Yeah.
Because if we can't, then the next option is to look somewhere else.
Yeah. Make another one.
Yeah. So try to figure out, see what's going on with that.
We're getting to some points where we're gonna have to make some decisions, one way or the other.
Yeah.
So.
And once again, that's what happens when you let it sit.
But
So-
the well provided good water for 70 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
19,
it'd be salvageable.
well, it was 1971 is when it came online.
71.
Yeah, it was 1971 is when it came online. That well came online. So,
It's lived a good life.
Oh, yeah.
well, honestly, I tell you what, we were very, very blessed from the big guy in the sky, because for years that was our 20 plus years, right, Robbie?
Mhm.
That was our only well, and even when they tried to get the other well, that didn't work out.
Yeah.
So, and we're still working on that one for plugging it, right?
Yes.
We're waiting,
Yes.
so we're gonna need to take care of.
We should have something on the next council agenda for TRC working with their. If you recall, when because we got so many different numbers with the plugging, and we were going to have to go out to bid because of that. Molly had suggested, hey, let's make sure we get a like true scope from an engineer. So TRC's been working on that. So we just have to pay a little bit for obviously them doing that. So that'll be on for the next April meeting. And then I've already started the bid document, so it's a matter of just plugging that in there and then getting it out on the streets. So
So that's gonna be well, so we can get that taken care of. That has been since 2002.
Yeah, somewhere on there.
We tried it once after that, but pretty much 2002, right?
Well, no, we were running it up until I guess 2005. 'Cause
Yeah,
were
we
just
tried
running
it.
Yeah,
We
were
tried it,
just-
but the smell was still
yeah,
there,
We
right?
were just running it once a week.
Yeah.
Mix it with the water.
So that's another open item we gotta take care of. It's been sitting there, and we gotta plug. There's nothing we can do. We'll be able to do that. So, thanks, Robbie. Appreciate all the extra time and then being able to monitor. We still got the telemetry people coming out, right?
Yeah, we're still working on trying to get
Okay.
them out. So.
Appreciate that. I know the PD is helping us out, just monitor until we get the telemetry stuff. So appreciate that. Talking about the PD, Richie, come on up, sir.
Normal stuff there, nothing, service calls, collisions, alarm calls. Still, I'll comment again, 5 alarm calls for as much stuff we got around here, that's really cool. Okay, go ahead, sir. Business checks, building checks, that's pretty standard. You can go ahead, sir. 382 on citations. Still looks like speeding, a lot of speeding tickets still. Fluctuates with how busy we are and what else is going on, but still a lot of tickets, speeding tickets out there, a little bit of everything. You can go through this, sir. We'll let them look through that, their convenience if they want to. Okay, so arrest, a lot of arrests. DWI, PI, warrant, PI, a warrant, some good felony warrants there. Warrants, DWI, theft, evading arrest, theft. I mean, it's quite a bit. Keep going, sir. We have 3 pages. DWI, warrant, DWI, criminal mischief, and citation on Class C theft. So that's pretty much very busy for those arrests. The field arrest is not what takes so long. It's putting the case together to file with the court, because you've got to have body cams in triplicate almost. You got to have car cameras on there. You got to have all this stuff nowadays that you didn't used to have when I started. So there's a lot of work goes into it. You can spend all day just working, putting cases together. And then where are we at there? Oh, okay. Identity theft, nothing super big going there. Burglaries. Yeah, we had some stuff going on there. I'm trying to think of where this gets to us at. That's one of those Kias, the Honda on Bloom Drive, the Kia.
All those vehicles you talked about last time.
That's the ones we talked about last time, because I think our meeting was right after this. The Camry, the Ford Escape, that was at the auto repair. The last one there, that Lotto Loft Storage, that's the one we actually, guys, got confession and recovered a bunch of the property. We've got the property at the office, thousands of dollars worth of property. So good work, Sergeant Lopez, Officer Lopez on that. Took them all day in San Antonio, but they went to about 6 different places tracking people down, but that's just how this works. What we got over there? Some broken windows. Not really know what happened on those. That U-Haul, that was attempted burglary. The truck stop there, that's the 4 storefront windows shattered by gunfire, and I think by picking up cartridges, they could tell that the person was going out of town on 3175 and fired over there. I mean, I think we found the damage. I don't think we actually. Delia's Resale, that's just somebody hit the side of the building when they were at the mini storage and then took off. And then criminal mischief, that's, then again, something we're working with over there. Stolen vehicle. Oh, well, they recovered a stolen vehicle at Law State Bank, so that's really not theft. There was a stolen U-Haul box van from over there, and then a stolen the F-350 and the dump trailer next to Charles's house, just a couple houses down from me. That was taken broad daylight, but the truck was recovered abandoned in San Antonio. It's back at home now. It's perfectly fine, but the trailer's gone, so I don't know. That was a strange deal because I was home, Anyway, I need to do a better job at taking care of my neighborhood. Lady traveling cross country. I guess people take their rings off when they wash their hands or something. And of course, inside the bathroom there, who knows how many people come in and out of that Whataburger that's the busiest bathroom in the world. So anyway, a lot of special events, siren tests. Of course, we had the Music Fest meetings. We had a lot of escorts, more Music Fest meetings. Sergeant Lopez went to the Medina County version of the Atascosa School Safety. They had that over at Medina Valley. More escorts. Kids got sick. I didn't make it to the police chief's conference. Matt and David went down there, Matt and Anthony went down there, and then did some lockdown drill. And the guys escorted the Passion of the Cross walk from coal mine to the church. So busy, a lot of stuff going on, We filed 12 suspects with the county attorney's office with a total of 14 charges. 6 suspects charged in the district attorney's office in Atascosa with a total of 9 charges. That's a lot of man hours there. And one, where we at, Medina? Is this Medina? Medina, we had 1 misdemeanor, which now it's the same prosecutors, but one person, 1 charge in Medina. Human Resources of 222 through 224, 222 through 320 had 46 hours overtime. We had 26 hours of vacation, 57 hours of sick leave, and 47 hours of holiday leave. So overtime up a little, but we had a couple people get sick at the very end of the schedule, and there was no way to work around it. Sometimes that happens. We have a 28-day window, and if a guy has to come in and work those last 2 or 3 days, there's no way I can move his hours around. It happens. Fire inspector stuff. We did, that's a little place down there in Brad's building, a permanent tattoo place. The Shock company, is it called Shock? What's it called? The one down here at the old Napa building? Shock. Anyway, we went down there and did an inspection and, for the city, for their fire deal. Nursing home fire inspection, that was always fun. Fire drill at the high school.
So so go back, so the cosmetics and tattoos, that's in where
Brad's building.
Where his office is at, so
They
it's
have-
a little office inside of there?
They have several little offices that they've always rented out to various small enterprises.
So that's probably gonna be open in the evenings now?
No, this lady, it's a lady. She does some just appointment only, but it's very specific. She does a lot of, I don't want, but she does a lot of like.
So maybe it's a different, it's tattoos, but it's a different.
Yes,
it's
she does a
not
lot of
what-
cosmetic for
Yeah.
like some people that have had issues, surgeries that require. So it's a little more. It's not like a tattoo parlor.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, it's more the cosmetic type.
Yeah, and for medical reconstructive type things.
And the Shock one?
That's this Napa people down here. They do some kind of oil field. It's an oil field, something or other.
Mostly storage of the
Yeah.
material and the pipes.
Yeah, they have a pipe. They have something. They had a big shop in Wyoming, and they got there instead of, so they're going to be able to do this little clean and change out process down there.
Okay.
Anyway, it's a small operation. I think there's 1 or 2 people going to be working there. So, what else is going on? Hopefully, we'll have our car soon. That's what our plan is. What else? Officer Pena put in his 2 weeks notice, I guess, last week. I guess he works next week. He's off for 4 days and he'll be working a few days. He's going to go to Round Rock. He'll be starting up there. And to give you an idea how these places are so aggressive, they put them through a little mini, not a police academy, but their own little training group. So they wait till they get 5 or 10 of them together and send them through for like a month or 2 to teach them the Round Rock way, or the city policies. So what they're going to do with him is, because they're not ready to start that, they're going to go ahead and bring him on full time with his full officer pay, but he'll be a civilian. And basically he just hangs around the office and does knick-knack stuff until they get ready to start this, because they can't afford to, if they tell him they don't want him, or if they tell him you're not going to start for 90 days or 60 days, well, there's departments all around them waiting to, hey, they're not going to start you for 60 days. We can start you in 30, So it's a really weird environment. So anyway, so he'll be gone. We'll advertise for that position May 1st or whatever day, May 1st is Sunday, whatever day the first Monday of May is. We'll advertise for a couple of weeks, hopefully get that position filled. It's what? Wednesday? So then we may just do it the end of April, whatever, April 29th. That's probably what we'll try to do. Okay. Been busy, a lot going on.
Richie, can you share what you guys helped out our school district with the radios or the radio?
Oh, well, we actually had a meeting with the school district on communication, so they're trying to work on making sure they understand, if they have an emergency, how all this works. And so, we have a repeater here, and we gave it to the county has the repeater. I checked the chief deputies, right? So basically inside the school, their radios, because they're so far from the repeaters, they're not able to get out very easy. So now they can use our channel, our repeater channel that the city has, that we have on our water tower, and then a radio in Jordan. So it gives them the ability to switch channels. Or if dispatching an emergency patches all of them together, it gives them the communication. So that's the kind of stuff we're working on. It's not a perfect world, but it's an
enhancement.
Yeah, it's an enhancement. So we've been working on that, and we finally got that done. Because we actually have the license for that. We actually have the license for that channel. So we said, hey, y'all can use this. A lot of working with the schools, trying to figure stuff out. Of course, a lot of the questions are who's in charge, who's and the deal is all the answers, all these means. Well, we don't have a big, what happened in Uvalde was, nobody was really like in charge. So the way it should work though is when you have an active shooter, it's just the people that get there do what they need to do. The rest of that comes comes, I mean, you do have an instant command system, you do have, but it's, in our environment, you're going to have officers from so many different jurisdictions that, you're going to have to, a lot of it's going to be just on the fly. So anyway, so the school has a lot of planning going on. That's awesome. I certainly, and I made a comment in one of my emails, those people are so much of their training is in emergency management now. It's kind of scary, that they're so well versed in emergency management at the schools. So it's kind of neat, but kind of sad at the same time.
Council, anything?
Chief, people asking me about that lady behind HB.
Oh.
She just live on the side of it.
No, she was gone. We criminal trespassed her and she was gone. When somebody talked to you last? Yeah, she's gone now, but then somebody told me they saw her striped. So, but she is trespassed from the HEB. I had to go through a couple of hoops with them to get, because they have but yeah.
I saw somebody sleeping just beside the ice machine out there at Stripes within this last week.
That may be her. I heard she was
feet sticking out in a blanket. I didn't walk around looking who it was.
Yeah, well, it might be she.
I was just trying to figure out, I've seen her too, but I go through that area.
Yeah, and that she's gone from there now. But yeah, she was there for a while. Well, she was in the hospital for about 2 or 3 months. Had some kind of something going on. Then she came back. I mean, yeah. So we're working on it.
If you see, just let Rich.
Yeah. Just if you see something, let us know, and we can work through the process. To get it. To. I mean, a lot of what we have now. She was more permanent, but a lot of what we have are just people passing through, and they're here. You go over and you wake them up in the morning, or you find them, and then they're already getting ready, and they're going somewhere else. So, or they ask for a ride somewhere.
Yeah, paid my bungalow. Top over there.
Oh, really? See that? People see. That's what you need. That's how that's how we used to do it. Everybody used to keep up with their neighbors and stuff, and now not quite the same. But any question, anything else?
Appreciate it, Richie. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Let's go ahead and go around the room. We're in item number 10, the informational items.
Yeah, Mayor, my wife made me aware of the Homestead Act. So Senate Bill 1801 amends sections 1143 of Texas Property Tax Code, section 1143, requires the chief administrator and of an appraisal district to develop a program for periodic review of each resident's homestead exemption granted. So basically what this is every 5 years, you have to reapply for your homestead. I was not aware of that. She's on the ball, so she knew about that. Just a reminder to make sure if this happens to coincide with your 5 years, that you have looked at your mailbox and you received it, because ours is due by April the 18th. So FYI.
Okay. So they're asked, you still have to be formally notified, right?
Yes, and so just make sure you check your mail. If this happens to be your 5 year, then it has to be turned in. Otherwise, you can lose your homestead.
So they pick different people every year? They're gonna
No, the way it's stated on that act, it's he's required to do it every 5 years.
Okay. Well, if you have any questions, call the appraisal
Yes,
office.
so please check in with them.
Yeah, depending on which county you're at.
Yeah, that was out of school. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Good stuff. Paula? Zach?
Can we do the thing now?
Yes, please.
So just wanted to, real brief, it's kind of hard to see, but this is the proposition flyer that was done up by Rosario and working with Molly to make sure we're good. But you'll start seeing this kind of going around. We're going to take some over to the library to have, and we'll have copies here. And then social media will start pushing it out. But basically it just generally gives people an idea of, we are having an election. Obviously, May 4th is the election day. It also on the bottom has the early voting dates as well.
but just kind of gives some general information and keeps it very, non-biased, not taking an opinion on the matter, just giving facts of the situation that we're in, and ultimately, letting people decide one way or the other. So, want to continue to talk about this just because it is something that we definitely need people to get out there and actually vote for one way or the other, and proceed forward. So you'll start seeing this. This is a good tool for us to have. Molly did send to myself and I think copied the mayor, and I'll send it out to all of council as well as city staff. But there is some guidelines to kind of follow. Basically, we want to stick to, just factual information and putting this, kind of out. But that'll help y'all in talking in the capacity as a, public official when mentioning anything regarding the proposition. So I'll be sending that out this week to y'all.
Yeah, so this is all knowledge. It's not about position. What our position is. It's basically just making sure people are knowledgeable and for them to show up and vote, basically.
On the election, we just need a simple majority, 5 vote for and no vote against. It works, right?
Correct. Yes, sir.
But we need people to show up to vote.
Yeah. Now the good thing is we're hoping that people will be out because there's the school has their stuff on there. There's a pond and there's some trustee positions and stuff like that. And then this technically the mayor Michael and position 5 our new incoming will also be on there. It'll say basically declared unopposed, declared elected. But their names will be on there as well. So
we all need to get one vote.
Right.
One vote.
Yes.
That's it.
So that's it. I just wanted to we're just going to keep pushing this information and just wanted to reiterate
This
it
is
for
going in
you.
the newspaper.
Yes, they're posting it for
This
Wednesday,
week?
correct? And then also KK, I think, reached out and she wants to do a little, something on it as well, juice it up a little bit. So yeah, so hopefully. Correct.
So we just need, once again, it's about letting people be knowledgeable. We need to get it out. Let them be knowledgeable about it. Okay?
That's it.
Thank you.
That's all I got.
Thank you, Zach. And thank you, Molly, too. So we can stay within our lanes. There's limitations, just like the school is limited on what they can and cannot say with a bond. So we're in the same position. Same thing. So, but we need to get it out so people know they're knowledgeable about it. What?
They indicted a couple school board members up in County.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't have anything, sir.
Okay.
That's too much.
Back there, nothing. Robbie? Nothing. Okay. Molly? Nothing at all. Okay, well, hey, I appreciate you guys being here. I know we got a few things we took care of, so we needed to take care of today, so appreciate that. A few things I want to say. First, I want to go ahead and say thanks to the team efforts to take care of Chris's family after his passing. And from Public Works getting involved to city staff, working with Lynette, Zach, you guys are just unbelievable and teaming up, Robbie, making sure you're taking care of the family and everything. We appreciate you guys checking. There'll be information that'll come forward letting us know when the services are and everything else. And all I can ask is just, be there for the family. Definitely. This was something really quick, happened really fast. And actually, this afternoon, I was taking a look at it before I came over here. And his posting on social media had 4,100 views. So it kind of tells you, in the sense of the impact that Chris did. He was a great guy. He was. I talked to his son this weekend, visit with him, and it was pretty cool just knowing that that his dad, every morning, whenever he left, he looked forward to coming to work. He enjoyed being with you guys, Robbie. He really, really loved coming to work. and doing a lot of things in the sense of just helping out people. So he's going to be dearly missed. So please take care of the family. Do what we need to do. Paula, thank you so much for all your help, the city staff, everybody, the park, Public Works too, with the Easter egg hunt event that turned out really good. It was a National Honor Society that was out there. Yep, they also came out. I know we had family members too. We had a bunny that needed extra help. That needed to be there, but it turned out really good. A lot of kudos. I had a few families that came over and told me, and even after the fact, that they went to other Easter egg hunts, and they said this was the best. They said the kids really enjoyed it, so they're looking forward. They're already planning out for next year. So let's keep it up. Keep it up with that. I think that worked out really good, and the hours were perfect. A lot of people said that it was better to do it earlier, and it was a lot quicker. In the sense it didn't drag out too long, so it worked out really good. So I think the only complaint that I got, but it wasn't really a complaint, just a concern, was since we started earlier, I guess the hot dogs weren't selling as well as the Boy Scouts were out there selling the hot dogs, but they still did. They did pretty good. So they want to come back. They did say that. So they'll be able. Maybe they'll have cinnamon rolls next year or something. Try to do that. But thanks for all. Thanks for getting the park ready for the Little League. Great home run, no pun intended, this past weekend. It went very well. Highly attended. I mean, everybody. And there's social media posted out there if you haven't taken a look at them out there. But the Little League literally gave us a lot of praise. Gave the city lots and lots of praise for everything that we do and support. They didn't say it then, but it was off to the side afterwards. They basically said that they talked to the other league folks in this area, all the other cities, and they said that there's nobody that gets the support as the city of Lytle. So thank you, council, for helping them out and being there, and the staff too, to make sure they're on cloud nine just because they're able to do things. And they do a lot of things. They volunteer a lot of stuff and a lot of materials and other things, but they love what we're doing here. And it shows, and it's going to get busier. So thank you for doing that. Want to say thanks for today, for the eclipse too. I think it was a group effort, everybody helping out. Did we ever get the approximate number? 225 folks that actually came out. And the schools were busy too, so I think it was pretty good overall. And a lot of comments. We had people from Michigan, Colorado, lots of people from San Antonio. We had folks from Corpus. We had 2 different families that were from Corpus that drove in, and they picked Lytle as a place to kind of experience it over here. So I'm waiting for one video as a timeline so I can post it. It looked pretty cool on the camera. He was going to send it to me in a link, and I'll put it out there. But it worked out, and Josh, one of the guys that was taking some photos, he took 2 good photos. Those are the ones that I posted out there, and those were through the clouds when it just cleared up enough. Apparently we got a better view at the school. Is that right? Yeah. Some reason we ended up with better view over here, so it worked out really good. Try to do that. So thank you to all, and I also want to say special thanks to HEB. They donated some waters, so we have some waters, and we'll utilize here. They also donated waters to our school also for our kids too, so that was pretty neat. So thank you, HEB, for doing that. Reminder, this weekend we got the VFW car show that is happening over at the VFW Post. There's a poster out in front of the building, and it's out on social media. Should be a very good opportunity to go see that. Cleanup, we already mentioned it, on May the 4th. Please, help spread the word. We need to get volunteers, especially the ones with cleaning the streets and stuff like that. We have another car show on the 4th of May and wrestling on the 18th of May. Those are being sponsored by the Shops of Lytle, Haywire, and the pub. So they're all working that. So we got a few things on that. So it's going to get pretty interesting as we go through some of these events. Congrats to the Pirate track team going over to area competition this week. We have the one act play. I think it's this week, right? Going to area. So they're also
They're
doing
dancing, yes.
So they're doing really good. I want to say congratulations to UIL Academics, our students. They'll be sending stuff out. They haven't sent it out because they're trying to do a group shot, but they did really good in different academics too. So representation, and they'll be going to regional competition. So that's pretty good. That's from that side, from the academic side. We got the softball and the baseball and everything else, so we got a lot of stuff that is going on. So it works out really good. I want to say congratulations to Dr. B. As a new superintendent, he's going to be replacing Michelle Smith later in the summer, so there'll be a little bit more announcements. So Dr. Brykoff pretty much will be taking over after they get done with this year. Birthdays, the 9th of April, Cassandra, we got April. I always wondered why they called her April. I guess, born in April. That makes sense, right? 10th of April, we got Judge Elias' birthday. On the 12th, Richie, we got Gordon. Yeah, 12th of April. So he's on vacation. Well, we got to catch him before. Got to catch him all. The 15th of April, you got Roger also. You're Roger. Roger. Yeah. And then on the 20th of April, you got Rosario. So we got another family member, the City Hall family member that's going to be do that. But there's somebody else whose birthday that is coming up. And this one is the real one. This is a real one because he was actually told that it was his birthday, if you remember, decorated and everything in December for some reason. So it's actually Zach's birthday. So we have a birthday coming up for him. We can't wish for a new house because we got the house this weekend. So he's already packed in on that one. So here we go. Where's Zach? Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Zach. Happy birthday to you.
Hey! And the best gift ever.
I'm gonna die. I haven't had any Coke or candy or nothing.
No secret cake, Richie.
Give it donate it to charity. Charity. Paula like.
There you go, Richie.
I'm well, see what
I'm
the doctor
impressed.
shows, see what the doctor shows you.
Did you notice he was shaking a little? Yeah, he was shaking a little bit. The lack of
Withdrawal.
that goes along with that. All right. With that, is there anything else? Last minute? Pass on? All right. It is 9:50. And if I can get a motion for us to go ahead and adjourn?
Mayor, I move that we adjourn.
Got one. Do I have a second? Two. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you for joining us. Good meeting. Appreciate it.